Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. When I say hello, everyone, you don't even need to say, "Hey, teacher Paulina." No, because you understand it's my name brand. Paulina Jan is English teacher. I have two jargons. Yes. Hello, everyone, and bye now. You can use the hello, everyone in a very enthusiastic way. It will always depend on the crowd that you can also use hello, comma, everyone. And you can finally say, hello, everyone. I'm here. It depends on the public. My pleasure. My name is Pauline Janis, your best solution for business English. And it's not just a business English, it's a business English that will first make you feel safe when you're navigating within any corporate settings. Also, it's the business English that will keep you employable. Moreover, it is the type of business English that you will be able to discuss, to get into arguments and take over meetings and feel comfortable in your own shoes, on your own shoes. And finally, is a type of business English that already had helped almost 585 Brazilian professionals. If you were there on Instagram or YouTube, just hit on my YouTube, just subscribe on my YouTube, enable the notifications because on the YouTube you can see all the slides. The topic on hand today will be the real management. And when we talk about real management, it's not just a question of like, okay, I want to be a boss and that's it. The first thing that it is very important for you to realize is the breakdown and the difference between a leader and a manager. Again and again and again. Leader and a management. But as I mentioned earlier, subscribe in all my social medias because it helps my engagement. And you can share this Instagram live and on YouTube and any of your stories, whoever you feel that it needs to hear that. Management, it's more about taking control of something. Leadership is when you want to know innovation. Instance, if you want to be a manager, you want to know about the timesheet and the submission. You want to know if the figures of your current CapEx or OpEx year to date of this quarter have met the minimum expectations, that you are not overspending or underspending. Now, on the other hand, innovation is when you become a leader that you know how important is to invest on an AI generative, on training and things like that. One, you check the daily work. The other, you see ahead and beyond, like my course. And by the way, you can Google it. You can like scan my QR code. Come on, guys, come here. There are some people entering on the YouTube. You can see the slides. You have all my services that I sell. I have, as you know, my Master Business English course. It's my core business. I have recorded class. I do podcasts. I have info products. You name it in translation, just go there. So now, coming back here, I want to base my life today on data. Yes, let me have a sip of water. If you don't rely on data, is the same as you will be blindfolded. Data is one of the most important things that you can have because you can have ammunition, you can have comparison, and you can do your KPIs, you can do your research, and therefore you can have a pattern or a path that you would like to take. So let's go to the first slide. I want to teach you, I want to tell you about code switching. And I'm going to give you two datas here that are currently happening, not only in Brazil. As you know, I lived 10 years to work in the United States of America, and I had a wonderful 25 years previous corporate career in international, external, internal audit. And for the past 5 years, I help Brazilian professionals like you to boost your capabilities. I want to come back here. Who is looking at the slides in here? Code switching. And I put 70% of people as management who brings them happiness. And 6.5 million Brazilians. This is very shocking. This last one, it's incredibly shocking. Year to date, fresh data. We are like in the beginning of March 2025. Year to date, 2024, we had 6.5 million Brazilians asked to leave. Yes, we're not going to talk about that the company terminated the employee. But these are shocking numbers. Well, let's come back a little bit. So first, I'm going to explain to you a little bit code switching and why this is a real management. Also, 70% of people are engaging and they are requiring from their bosses, from their companies, to have and to foster a healthy work environment. At the end of the day, if you're not in a healthy place, you are completely screwed. You are completely screwed. And only in Brazil, that's where I am from, that's where I live right now, 6.5 million Brazilians asked to leave their jobs. So it rings like the flashlight and it's a whistleblower for people to say, hey, what is the old management? What should be the real management and what the future holds? And hear me out. Come here. Code switching is when you pretend to have a personality to suit in the environment needs again and again and again. In other words, if you work in an environment that everybody is very serious and you are a person who is more happy, more enjoyable, more talkative, you are going to end up acting more serious on that environment. Why? Because the environment of work brought you to make this decision to apply the code switching. Code switching is when you are not free to be authentic for the most part. That means that you build a character, you know, Carl Jung, the Swiss philosopher, Carl Jung, he created the archetypes. Everybody knows. The topic today is not to talk about Carl Jung, but I want to mention Carl Jung because when you are in the archetype of the smart person or the clown, you incorporate that character and it's how you want to be seen and you want people to perceive you in the market and on the social media, for instance. Code switching, it can be a comparison like that. You go to work, you forget your own self, you're dressing your nice clothes and everything, but you change your personality, you switch the way you are just to feel good and swim in the same waters as the people within your company do. Does that make sense? The downside of code switching, like everything has an upside and a downside. The downside of code switching is that you cannot be authentic. For instance, I am this, and of course I dress well, of course I am a teacher, of course if you look on my feed, and by the way, you can look on LinkedIn, you can look on YouTube, you can look on Instagram, in all of them I have like a methodology in there. I have like, I hire a marketing agency that helps me with the strategy of the month. But most of my archetype is very professional because I want to be seen and I am a professional. That's the difference. You want to be seen as something, but you're not. I want to be seen as professional because I am professional. This is the difference. Code switching, there is a problem. And the downside of the code switching is that when you want to be free, you cannot be authentic. And that's where people fall into depression. That's where people try too hard to be somebody else that they're not. That makes sense? So wrapping this all up in here. Code switching has a lot to do with the new management because the new management asks that you need to be yourself. But you need to decide you want to be more as a management or you want to be more acting like a leadership role or you want to incorporate both and blend them because I speak for myself. When I started being an executive, everybody knows I started as an intern, in external audit. And my last position as international general manager for audit, it was on the Brookfield Corporation company. Go to my LinkedIn. I acted myself many times, but sometimes I needed to fit into the culture. Does it make sense? But you need to imprint the way you are. That's why these data are so important. Understand the code switching and how you would like to apply it within your company and your work settings. And understand that nowadays it's not only in Brazil, it's worldwide. There are researchers. People want to engage in the companies with people and bosses, and mainly with bosses that can be with peers and co-workers that bring them happiness. And finally, all this amount of numbers of people and that left their companies. It's something that is happening in the world. If you leave your company, it's because you're applying code switching and you're getting sick, or you are already fed up, or you wanna swim in other waters. You wanna find other opportunities. So keep that in mind. And one of the things that it's here on the slide, you can take a snapshot, you will have it available on YouTube. When you start in a new company and you are working with a team that you count on, that you rely on, you trust, that can be your backup too. What are you going to do? You need to make questions. But the old styles of questions is just like, oh, you are strong. Yes, you can balance much pressure. Back to the time when I joined the corporate settings, I was like 19 years old. I'm 50, so 31 years old. I had to say like, oh, I respond very well under pressure. I can take a lot of plates. I can like have a lot on my back because I'm very professional, blah, 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 all the nonsense. Now, this is not applicable in precise questions that I learned throughout the years that you need to update with your team members, with your future backup person, and with the future professionals from the company are this. Number one, which I think it's great. Before this meeting, before this live that I'm doing right here, I did a meeting with a potential client. And we said, like, hi, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And I said, how can I help you with my business English? Because I'm really concerned about if my services of business English, as you know, I just don't give like business English classes. I do a lot of other things that you can look at the link of bio, all my services. And by the way, just go as well to my website, www.inglescompaulina.com.br. So I ask, I go straightforward. How can I help you with my services of English? Which stage are you? So the first question that for me it's very key. What do you need me to help you? Because the person will be like, okay, I'm here. Because a lot of times people search for products and services, but they don't really know what is their goal they want to reach. Does it make sense for you? Number two in here. What is your key professional goal this year? How can I guide you through it? You need to have one single professional goal that it's only related to you. It's not related to the company, it's not related to the income and the P&L and the performance of the company. It needs to be related to you as a person. That's why I inserted the code switching, because if you try to fit in into a culture and you cannot be yourself, one day you're gonna explode. It's like when you put like in a glass of water, a lot of water, and it transbords and it comes out. What is gonna happen? You're going to get depressed. You're gonna get tired of things. So asking what is your key specific goal for this year, aligning expectations. Number three, what are your main bottlenecks during the workflow? What are the main problems during work that you faced in the past, that you're facing right now, that you wouldn't like to face it again? Because sometimes we go over and over again and we commit sloppy mistakes, but we say, oh, it's acceptable because everybody does it. No, you cannot settle for less. Nowadays, we have collaborative work environment. In the past, it was just like in the hierarchical need, you have physiological needs, you have work needs, love needs, safety needs, until you reach out the top where you master your talent, wherever you want to go. You need to align what are your main bottlenecks during the workflow? What are the main gaps? What are the main issues? And by the way, for people that are my students, gap is not a problem. It's a gap, é uma lacuna. If you don't resolve the gap, then it becomes a problem. Then it becomes a flaw, an issue, then you're in trouble, whatever it is. So you need to align the bottlenecks, because if you don't do it, it's the same thing that you're putting dust under the rug. Does it make sense? That's what it is. And finally, how do you wanna receive a feedback? Because companies have annual performance, 360-degree performance, you name it, whatever it is. And you do the true up of the performance in the mid-year review, right? Mid-year review, I prefer calling true up performance, but it's called mid-year review. You do it. And if the person tells you, your boss tells you that everything is in tip top shape and it's not, and at the end of the year you get surprised, you can't. You need to document it. How do you want to receive your feedback? Do you want to be straightforward? Do you want me to be direct to you? Do you want me to be too nice, too cute, too caring for you? I am the kind of person that I prefer straight to the point, but really polite without hurting the professionalism and without hurting the feelings of the person. But I prefer always thinking how I communicate, also what will be the impact of my communication, because you have direct, indirect impact. And inside of this direct and indirect impact, you also have the measurements. You have short term of that impact, mid-term of that impact, and long-term in that impact. One needless to say right now, with the increase of tariffs from Mr. Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, all the global market is going crazy, because how are you going to do estimates with it? But let's continue here. How you want to ask feedback. So as a summary here, code switching is very important. 70% of people look for bosses who engage them in the pursuit of happiness. And the most important shocking thing, 6.5 billion employees in Brazil asked to leave in 2025. This is shocking. Those are innumerous things. And how you make your precise questions, it makes you feel good about your management, because you understand what is a management role, what is a leadership role, and the way you want. You need to align, because nowadays we are in a collaborative work environment rather than competition. You are there to collaborate. And believe me, understanding the characteristics of traits of people will make your life much better. And everybody asks me this. I'm reading this book. Yes, I like to read books, but it's called A New Earth. Okay. It's from Eckhart Tolle. I love this So I bought it in English. I have books in English and in Portuguese. I like to read them both. I have Kindle, but I bought it. And one thing that is helping me, because a person needs a repertoire, is to talk about the egos, type of egos, villain, victim, and lover, and how they can be applied during the work settings as well. Because if you need to apply code switching and you have an ego, I have an ego, you have an ego, we have nuances of all the three of them. However, the way you want to imprint your personality will bring a much better work environment and a new leadership or management, whatever your role might be. And believe me, you can be the manager of the junior auditors, but you're still the manager. You don't need to hold a high position just to prove yourself. You need to prove to nobody. Be yourself. Be naive. Be sometimes authentic. Authenticity. If I don't lose my authenticity, if I lose my authenticity, I close my business because this is Paulina. Hello, everyone. Bye now. And that's what I am. I am like flesh and bones, and that's what it is. And for everybody who wants to know my social media, here is my ticket with all my social media, my e-card. And thank you so much. I'll be seeing you next week with a new live. But the next live from next week, you guys will also choose the topic, but it will be more a grammar kind rather than data and information like this one. Hello, everyone. By now, think about code switching and why people are leaving and why people are getting sick. And be more precise with your team members. That way, you will adapt very much so because you will minimize the impact that you have within your corporate settings because the pressure will be always high. For me, that I'm an entrepreneur, for people that work in business and roadside assistants, that work in manufacturing business and banks, in traders, whatever segment your company sits in. Hello, everyone. If you have any questions, just let me know. You only need to scan the QR code in here for people that join my YouTube. And if you have any questions, go to the link of bio. I will be happy to address any questions you might have. Bye now and have a great night. See you next week. Ciao.